Welcome back to Moms Always Eat Last. And in this episode, I want to welcome you into a conversation about a phrase that looks harmless on the surface, but it hits moms like a punch in the gut. Just tell me what needs doing. If you've ever felt your chest tighten when you hear that, if you've ever felt the weight of being the only one who notices what needs attention, this episode is for you. Today, we're going to talk about the invisible mental load, why this phrase feels dismissive, and how we can shift from delegation to true partnership. And yes, we're going to talk about the solution, not just the problem.
Welcome to Moms Always Eat Last, a movement, a reminder, and a revolution of love. I'm Alysia Lyons, founder of Lyons Heart Healing, and this space was created for every mother who has spent years putting herself at the bottom of the list. Somewhere along the way, we were taught that love means sacrifice, that being a good mom means giving until there's nothing left. But the truth is, your peace, your joy, and your wholeness are not luxuries. They are your birthright. Each week, we explore what it means to release guilt and overwhelm without adding more to your to-do list. We talk about identity, boundaries, healing, and the quiet ways we remember who we are beneath the expectations and invisible labor we carry. This isn't about perfection. It's about presence. It's about coming home to yourself. Because when a mother heals, generations heal with her. So take a breath, take your seat, and let's begin.
Let's start with the truth most moms live with, but rarely say out loud. You're not just doing tasks, you're tracking them. You're anticipating needs, you're remembering schedules, you're noticing what's running low, you're planning meals, you're monitoring emotional climates, and holding the entire household's future problems in your head. This is the mental load, the invisible labor that keeps life moving. And when someone says, just tell me what needs doing, what they're really saying is, be the project manager, assign me tasks. You carry the responsibility of knowing what needs attention. And that's not really help. That's delegation. And delegation is still labor. So let's talk about the emotional layer, because it's not just about dishes or laundry. It's about feeling unseen, feeling unsupported, feeling like the only adult who notices what needs attention, feeling like rest is impossible because the mental tabs never close. When someone says, just tell me what needs doing, it reinforces the idea that you are the default parent, the default planner, the default emotional regulator. It makes you responsible for assigning tasks instead of sharing responsibility. And that's where burnout begins. And a lot of times we think it's just easier to do it myself than figure out how to say, I need you to do X, Y, and Z. Your body knows this moment. The tightening of your chest, the spike of irritation, the exhaustion that feels bone deep. Your nervous system is responding to the weight of being the one who carries it all. This is why moms often say, I don't want to tell you what to do. I just want you to do it. Because noticing is partnership. Noticing is shared responsibility. Noticing is love in action. Now let's shift into the solution, the part that brings hope, clarity, and actual change. Shared awareness is the foundation. Instead of tell me what to do, we want partners to learn how to scan the environment, notice patterns, anticipate needs, take ownership without being prompted. This shifts the mental load from one person to two adults working together. We just finished a little round of spring cleaning at the end of summer, where we washed every blanket in the house, most of which were sitting on top of my son's bed. And there was a giant pile of blankets, sheets, and various other things that needed to be washed that were sitting in front of our back porch door. When I noticed the washing machine was done running, I would take out the load and put in the next load. And when my husband noticed that the machine was done, he did the same thing. I didn't have to ask him. And the cool thing about it was that he and I have sort of opposite schedules. I'm a morning person and he's a late night person. So when I woke up in the morning and the machine was done, I would do a new load. And then when I'd go to bed and the machine was done, he would start a new load. So then that cycle just keeps repeating. I really wish that I had counted how many loads we did. It was probably 6 or 7 because it was also on top of coming back from a weekend trip to the coast. But it's like that machine has gotten a workout over the last couple of days, but it hasn't just been me being the only one putting things in and taking things out. And sometimes our washer dryer combo doesn't dry the clothes all the way. And so one of the times, instead of rerunning the dryer portion, my husband took everything out and laid everything out on the bed so that they could air dry so that we could get another load into the machine. These are the kinds of things that women want their partners to see and do without asking. Because if I had had to ask him, it would have felt less helpful than him doing it on his own. And that leads me into the next solution, which is shared systems. Systems make the invisible visible. This can look like a shared task board, a weekly reset ritual. I like to call those family meetings, a who owns what list, a rhythm for the household maintenance. Systems reduce the need for reminders, nagging, or mental tracking. They create clarity without emotional charge. So this is something that my husband and I did really early on in living together was dividing up the tasks because I like having a routine, something that I do every single day, and he likes to do his cleaning all in one day and kind of bang it out, right? And so there are things around the house that need to get done every single day, and there's things that need to get done once a week. And so I was doing the everyday tasks like loading and unloading the dishwasher, loading and unloading the washing machine. And he was doing the weekly tasks like mopping and the toilet. And he also does a lot of the outside tasks. So, since we moved to our new home and there's a lot more outside that needs to get done, we've adjusted our system so that neither one of us feels overwhelmed. So I help him in some of the outside tasks especially when we have people coming over, and he helps me with the inside tasks around the same time. Like, for example, when we have to clean up after people coming over, now that the dishes aren't just my responsibility, he pitches in with that too. And this is just the system that we've come up with. And then our son has chores that he does every day because of the animals. We want the carpet to be vacuumed every single day. So every day my son vacuums the carpet area. And then on Wednesday and Sundays, he vacuums the stairs because the stairs don't necessarily need to be done every single day, but twice a week really helps keep everything clean. We started using a app called Greenlight for my son because it takes money from my account once a month and puts it into an adult account on the platform. And then when he does his chores, he checks them off every day. And every time he checks them off, he gets paid per chore. And then at the end of the week, he gets paid out the amount that we've allotted for the chores of the week. And if he doesn't do the chore, then he doesn't get paid for it. So he's learning responsibility of completing a task and getting paid for the task and not getting paid when you don't do the work. It helps keep him on track with his chores as well. And I get a notification every time he checks off one of his tasks. So it helps that I don't have to police him as much. And he knows that before he's allowed to get on the computer that he needs to do his chores. And so it just keeps everything running really smoothly in our house. And we check in every so often just to make sure that the system is still working for us. And when more responsibility comes on my plate or on my partner's plate or my son's plate, like we will have, we'll check in with each other and make sure that what is happening is still equally dispersed. We come together to try to make sure that everyone is feeling like the weight of what they're being asked to do is equal to the time that they have to do it. Another solution is shared language, and language really shifts energy. So if we can replace just tell me what needs doing with, is there anything that I can take off your plate today? Or even, hey, I'll do dinner tonight. Or I'll take care of the morning routine because I know you have to get up extra early tomorrow. Or I'll take over making the shopping list for this week. Little phrases like this help communicate partnership instead of passive participation. So, if this is resonating with you, I want to offer you just a gentle reframe that you're not asking for help because you're weak. You're asking for partnership because you're human. You deserve rest, you deserve support, and you deserve to be seen. And the more we name the invisible load, the more we can redistribute it with love, clarity, and shared responsibility. Thank you for being here and for listening and for doing the brave work of naming what's so heavy so that you can move towards what's peaceful. And if this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, a partner, a friend, or another mom who's carrying more than she realizes. And until we meet again, keep healing. Bye, guys.
Thank you for joining me for Moms Always Eat Last. Before you go, take a moment to breathe and remember, your worth isn't measured by how much you give, but by how deeply you live. Our power as mothers isn't found in shaping our children to fit the world. It's found in shaping ourselves into the women we want them to see. When we heal, they learn what healing looks like. When we rest, they learn that rest is allowed. When we remember who we are, they remember too. So keep choosing yourself, not as an act of rebellion, as an act of love. Because peace isn't a luxury, it's your birthright. I'm Alysia Lyons, founder of Lyons Heart Healing. You can learn more about this movement and my work at AlysiaLyons.com. Until next time, keep putting mom back on the list. Keep taking your seat and keep remembering who you are.